really exceptional, so not giving them the Leona, which was something that they paired really well when Peanut was also playing Lilia, could be something that hurts LGD's synergy in their engage quite a bit, because so many times they're just waiting for Mark to initiate, and if he doesn't have a pick that can so reliably go in without dying, then you might actually see a support that puts himself in harm's way and ends up going down. So same 2 bans from LGC at the start. Really, guys, please let's see that Twisted Fate though, because I know the Kindred is really important, but I think that the Twisted Fate was more.
Could take it as well. Charlie has played it, I think, this year. Well, we'll see what happens here. It was Kindred last time, as you mentioned, Crumbs. So we'll see if they decide they want to change it up or keep that one out of Peanut's hands. In general, I feel like bot side played pretty well for Legacy. Top side was kind of where the problem started with Peanut just being able to so freely invade. Oh, Renekton being banned. Message received on the LGD side.
I mean, you're still giving away the Twisted Fate that I think LGD won't have a problem taking away. There's still plenty of champions that are physical damage in the top lane that Longjin has been playing. You've got Gnar, you've got Volibear, you've got Camille, so they do have quite a bit that they already play together. I think that LGC might just be setting themselves up for another Nidalee first pick here, but this is increasing the value of Twisted Fate more and more. I really want to see what they have to say about this, because LGD won't hesitate to pick this up again.
I mean, I think the best thing to do is take it. I just don't think that's what they're going to do, but they are going to consider all of their options here, especially with Ori and Cinderband. I don't know what counter Shia has. Yeah, they are going to do it, right? They take the Twisted Fate.
Okay, so now the question is, can LGD play a mid 2v2 that can actually focus the Twisted Fate and keep him shoved in? So picks like Azir are going to have a really easy time just continuing to push him if they have a strong jungle pairing. It might be whatever Peanut plays will be able to contest whatever LGC wants to play, because this is just his kind of wheelhouse. The Kindred is still available. It is going to be the Nidalee locked in, though, denying that combo that would have been so deadly of the gold card into a spear. So already LGD having some really powerful early game tools to deal with what Twisted Fate has to do.
Curious if Lucian's going to show up for GA at all in this draft, but we'll have to see. Still 1 pick here for LGD to go, and they don't have to pick mid lane here. They can take something else. Barrett probably going to respond with Graves, given the matchup 15. Ooh, a very early Leona. Oh, no, swap to Camille instead.
Okay, blinding the Camille at this point. So, okay, if Tapoon can actually play carries in the top lane, you have a really incredible time against the Camille. A Jax Twisted Fate combination would obliterate Camille here. But unfortunately, the theme of this play-ins has really just been putting top laners on tanks, and there are tanks that can survive this matchup. You can even go with picks like a Shen, still have a decent matchup into the Camille, and have another global to assist your Twisted Fate. It's going to be Lilia paired with the Twisted Fate, and Poppy as well. Already she's going to get a lot of value from that steadfast presence against Nidalee and Camille, and surviving the top lane matchup with an immediate Kassadin response. Against double AP, it's going to work.
Lilia instead of Grace of a bit, but I like Lilia too. I think it makes sense with a champion that wants to invade a lot. TF, of course, pairing well with any jungler that wants to be aggressive. Poppy, kind of the tanky side of like Camille counter, so I think this is a good pick for Tapoon as well. But starting to see already, you know, with 2 AP champions picked. I was worried about Lucian on the GA side, but he's gone for Kassadin instead. So not nearly as much early lane dominance, but my goodness, when Kassadin gets going, it is abysmal to play against.
And the time we saw Kassadin get going was against this double AP mid-jungle pairing. So he's going to have an easy time with his passive and his shield to survive against this lane. Yet there's still an opportunity for Twisted Fate to actually have a lot of pressure in this matchup, because you're also dealing with double AP. So Merc Trez itemization is going to be really valuable here to continue to shove the Twisted Fate in. But it's a new look from Legacy that we haven't really seen them execute thus far. They have gotten here not from the laning prowess, but rather the team fighting from Talia. Being able to flank and get those big wombo combos has been a big signature for them. So if he can actually deliver a really solid Twisted Fate performance, we might see a really different trend develop in this series, which is just priority of Twisted Fate from teams left, right, and center. It's going to be another pick from the Leona on LGD side, which I really would like to see Legacy do something about it, though. That win rate that Kadra was talking about, 70% in over 20 games, and Nautilus being the second most played in under 40 is a really nutty discrepancy that you just don't want to allow a player to get away with picking such a solid champion when the rest are having such a hard time.
All right, well, Tristana, no, Braum instead. I think they need a little bit more time to think about their AD, but they are going to take Braum here into the Leona. Just trying to figure out what the Thresh Bang was for, like what lane are you potentially setting up for?
I mean, you're asking them to just pick Leona every single time, right? You're banning. I don't know what they're thinking that Mark's priorities are here, but the same thing happened. You don't want him to get the Rakan. Yes, it looked good, but guys, the Leona has been quite impressive as well here.
It is Draven.
Even. Okay, even more focus for the bottom lane here. If the Twisted Fate can get down here and assist in getting those stacks cashed in, you actually have a carry that can just one-shot when the Nidalee, when the Camille, or even the Cassidy want to go in.
Okay, I saw Sivir. I'm pretty sure that's not it. Senna would be fine. We'll see what he wants to pick. Ezreal also pretty safe. Twitch, Senna, Ezreal, Graves, probably not that one. But running down the clock, and it is going to be Ezreal there for Kramer.
Just super safe there. He's going to be able to survive against a lot of the Twisted Fate roams, as well as being able to itemize Frozen Fist if you really want to against the Draven. So I think that the Ezreal pick just makes sense here. And LGD just want to farm up. You do have some playmaking in the top and bottom here. Middle, you really just want to farm up. But if they can get items in their split pushers, it's going to be really hard for Legacy to deal with a Kassadin and Camille in the late game.
Yeah, that's a sentence. Absolutely, LGD seem to be well set up for the side lanes once again. I'm curious to see that both of the supports went more aggressive this time around. So straight in the game. Ios has Ignite this time. Raze, I don't believe that's bugged. Looks like he's ported his Kalista rune page over for this game as well. I like the cleanse versus Leona, but it is Halo Blade's Draven.
It's going to be very powerful early game. Now, I'm more curious than his runes about his build, because there is quite a variety that you can go with the Draven. The Mirror Mana lethality build can get a ton of value here, because there's not going to be a lot of members itemizing early armor. You do have Leona and Ezreal, potentially the Nidalee here, but their AP focus from the mid jungle 2v2 makes me think that a heavy lethality build out of the Draven could be what they need to snowball this game and get the most out of the Twisted Fate.
I guess I'll ask you, Crumbs, because I think this was the biggest thing we looked at last game. Do Legacy have more tools now to engage? Because that seemed to be the problem. They just couldn't find a 5v5.
Well, they actually have less, in my opinion, here, but they do have tools to get the fights and picks instead. So the team fighting aspect can revolve around Lilia more than anything else, but you do have Twisted Fate, so you never really have to get those team fights. You can just get fights on the side lanes. You can outnumber your opponents that way, so you never really have to take the 5v5. It's going to be an early skirmish here, though, and Camilla's already collapsing. If the Lilia hits 2 there, it's going to be fine. She did use the smite, though, but Peanut will just have to run away.
Yeah, can't really do much here with all these people invading. So nice late invade there for Legacy. I imagine Peanut's just going to split the map here. Waiting a little bit between camps. Does he want to go back in for this here? I mean,
he's got vision.
He knows probably that Babip doesn't have smite.
Oh, this could be a big steal. If he can take it, he can have red buff and potentially chase down the Lilia. Oh, spear.
This seems
troublesome.
Someone's going to hit this buff. Yeah, here's Peanut. Steals it away, and Babip's like, dang.
He might be dead.
Yeah, Peanut's going to chase him. Babip's going to have to zip on out of there. Mid laner coming over, going to have to flash.
You hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see it. They should have known that that ward was still alive, Pastry. They actually had hit it there, so they just assumed that Peanut had ran away, that he was thinking about getting to the other side of the map. Instead, he had remained in the area, lingered, and knew what he could do to outplay. So the invade just ends up being a Raptor steal and a nice leash for an Italy.
Steps on the shield. This can be a really nice trade there for Longsheng in the top lane. Tapoon wasn't level 2 when that all started, so makes sense why he was struggling. And bottom side, here are the runes. Very similar to the Callisto ones, I believe. Nothing too surprising. Tapoon is taking a beating in the top lane, and Peanut's here nice and early. Hitting the cannon. This could be the death knell. Peanut's in there with the red buff, auto-attacking away. And Tapoon does run away safely to his tower. Gonna have to back this time, and I don't think he'll get killed under the tower like last time. Oh, Babip, he's low, but there's the smite.
Oh god, Pastry, this is brutal. This is brutal for the top side, because now the wave was actually pushing away from the Poppy, and the Nidalee is in the top side, has the opportunity to not only take the scuttle and linger around, but potentially even see that the blue buff is open and can steal it away from the Lilia here. So more focus on the sidelines there out of LGD. This is not a gank, this is just running around from one side of the map to the other to deny the blue buff steal from Lilia.
Yeah, Babip though does hit the crab, so gets a lot of health and mana back, which you needed, but here's the blue buff that Babip's after. No smite on either jungler, but Peanut is on his wolves right now. The Prio from Legacy's bottom lane and Tally pushing in. They are going to group up together and make sure to take this buff. Who's going to get it? Might be a donation to Tally, but I imagine Babip is just going to take it. Does indeed grab it and gets level 4 for himself as well.
I think this was a mistake from Peanut there, Pacer. You had the blue buff available on the other side of the map, and the wave was shoving with the Camille being ready to gank this Poppy. This Poppy should have been punished for that teleport. If you can kill her when she TPs to the wave and is trying to crash it and she has to walk all the way back, the advantage you give to your Camille is so massive you can expect her to carry the game. Instead, she just gets to push the wave, crash it, and now Poppy is as happy as a clam.
Can't get too excited in top lane for Tapoon because he TP'd in, so it's much easier for him to trade now as Peanut will finally take this blue buff off the table. A little bit of a delayed take, but at least Peanut keeps the farm nice and even, and now Tapoon's in trouble potentially, depending on how aggressive he wants to be pushed up in this lane, but Peanut not going to visit just yet.
Yeah, no mana on the Camille. She's already so low. She hasn't gotten the base off while the Poppy got to reset off her sustain, so the Camille is just going to farm away. It doesn't matter how extended the Poppy gets. She knows that the Camille can't even combo a hook shot onto her, so she's just happy here. And while the wave will push back, it seems that she's just going to allow that to happen. If she attempted to crash it here, the Camille teleport could have held the wave in a tough spot and made it harder for Poppy when Camille hits level 6. So having this push all the way back to her will make it so that even though Camille will have a level advantage, she won't be able to use her ultimate and catch you at a point where you're overextended.
Yeah, Tapoon actually just taking the time to get a recall in, which I think is a nice option. Picks up Balmy Cinder for himself. Isles roaming around. He's going to spot Mark there with the sweeper. And going to see the ward as well. Going to start punching it down. And does get it. Actually, that's a Nidalee trap, excuse me. Does look a bit like a ward. And bottom line, we haven't checked in for a bit. It is going to be the Muramana build. At least the first item out of Rage does have that tier and the longsword, as you can see. CS is even though. The Kramer with a nice, safe, long-range Ezreal hasn't been too affected by the aggressive lane pick.
Uh-oh. Okay, so we were checking into the bottom lane, but there's a big problem here in the mid lane, Pastry. This Kassadin is out-CSing Twisted Fate. That is not what you want to see out of the mid lane matchup. So LGD feels very happy that this is the way that things are going. And despite the score being 0-0, you can see that they're already starting to build some gold from the CS. Every single lane is out-farming LGC, which is the problem that we initially had thought would really hurt Legacy's chances of hitting a team fight on even footing, and it's only being magnified as the series progresses.
Yeah, it looks like this Infernal Dragon could potentially see some attention, but LGD not going to go there just yet. Longshing just roaming down, getting some vision out. Tapoon going to go ahead and push that wave in, but just going to be chilling out here for the Camille. You can see a Cull actually being bought by Longshing after that last buy, so very much just hanging back, knowing that this is going to be probably a farm lane more than anything else.
Well, he knows that the lane that Legacy can go through is once again the bottom lane. You're really not making a lot happen in the other parts of the map. You might be able to stun the Kassadin and keep him locked in between Lilia and Twisted Fate, but you probably don't have enough damage to do anything to him. He's confident enough to use the Rift Walk on no mana in the mid lane here. And when you've got a Kassadin that can play this way, it's because he knows he's not in any real threat here. Look at what he can do. Like, normally when you have a different jungle matchup, Kassadin doing this, no mana, no Rift Walk, he's just sitting field. A gold card and an AD jungler just kill him, but because it's Lilia, he can continue to do this, and he won't be punished.
Yeah, 15 CS up, went blasting one first as well. He might even just dive here. He's at least going to threaten it. We know that Peanut's behind LGD's mid lane now to Tal, but Tally doesn't know that. So they're going to have to take the recall regardless. Tapoon looking in the top lane, but just trying to trade here. No one else to join in for a potential gank. As Babip's finally going to move up here and clear out some vision. Does indeed spot the control ward.
And the mid lane, they're going to go for the same item build. It's going to be Roa versus Roa too. So if the Kassadin can hit it earlier, it's going to be even harder for the Twisted Fate because he's going to just be outpaced the whole way through. It's looking rough here for Legacy. They are going to need to look for a good Twisted Fate ultimate to start putting some gold on the board, or else they're just going to bleed out and get 1-3-1 and not be able to do much about it. I really want to see if they can free up Tally and have that first ultimate go down. Maybe to the bottom lane would be a good idea. There's no teleports here on the side of LGD, so you would know that you wouldn't be outnumbered.
Topoon is going to spot Peanut, but going to have to get out of here now. As no TPs for either top laner, and Peanut being spotted means Babip's play for this Dragon's actually a good one. Legacy should be able to secure this, but Peanut can fall back and take the Herald instead. So once again, we'll see this trade. Legacy taking the first Dragon, LGD going to take the first Herald.
LGD's going to be happy with this trade. Getting the Herald will allow you to place it in the solo lanes and once again get these champions snowball. I think we have a good reference for what Camille and Kassadin can do from the Unicorns of Love game. They're the only team in groups thus far that have actually showed us this combination, and once those two get going, you know it gets nearly impossible for you to hold them in those 1v1s, especially if you can actually crack those turrets down. We see that Nidalee is going for a blue buff invade. This was the blue that she had initially counter jungled before, so they had a timer on this. They're being relentless, and it's just a swap because Lilia goes to the bottom side, but is unable to find a dive here. We've still to see a Twisted Fate ultimate 10 minutes into the game.
He gets a really nice slam there onto Camille. Ray's actually also pressuring up. He's going to straight up ulti this wave and try and get more plates out of the deal. It's funny, we kind of split the map again. Legacy showing a lot more attention to Rays than they have so far at Worlds. And Babip's playing to this side of the map as well, while Peanut is just happily invading behind his solo lane. It's like one level lead. Xie is just playing without a care in the world. He gets ignited. Spellbook there giving that one over, but not enough to do anything other than poke Xie a little bit low.
This is a brutal matchup in the mid lane. Not a single play, barely any turret damage there onto the side of Kassadin. Tally is out of sustain at the moment, so he's just begging for jungle help. You see that Braum is moving from base straight to the mid lane to try to help out this Twisted Fate, who really would love to crash this minion wave and not put himself in harm's way, because the second he locks in a card that's not gold, that's the opportunity that Kassadin is using to Rift Walk in his face. Already building such a nice CS. This is the dream for a Kassadin. You're winning lane. What else do you want from this pick? You know level 16 is going to be doomed for Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually just making sure this wave can crash so Tally can back and is going to get the opportunity to do so. But even when Gold Card has been selected,
he's still going in.
Yeah, I mean, he's just buffering Qs if he needs to, right? Eating the damage and then Rift Walking back in. Ulti there is going to force Lyles to flash. Nice solar flare there from Mark.
I think if Mark committed those spells a little bit sooner, the Spear and Kassadin would have actually been able to follow up sooner. So let's Braum get away with burning his flash, although those Merc treads really bought more time than I think they expected him to stay in that crowd control.
Kind of funny to see these mid lane backs too. I think Twisted Fate passive is really helping out because the CS discrepancy does not match the items on the screen right now. They're actually pretty close in current itemization.
Twisted Fate passive, Gangplank passive, these are the things that have been keeping Legacy's gold even in these laning phases, but they're going to jump to
really scary. Tally not going to eat the spear, going to have to gold card Xie and does do so, but you know, even if Tally's keeping things even, trying to farm up, he's not able to leave this lane, and this is the thing that Tally's been so good at this world, is roaming, right? Set, the Galio, Twisted Fate, great roaming champion, but Xie's just not letting him out of the lane.
This is the problem. When you actually have to be really impeccable in your laning phase to be able to roam. Remember, it was last year where mid laners were really so notorious for roaming. A lot of it comes down to being able to lane and control the wave well enough that it buys you the time that you can afford to rotate over, get an advantage that way without missing much. If you're losing lane and not being able to CS, it doesn't matter how good you are at spotting those roams, the enemy's just never going to let you find it, and if you do, well, you're going to lose your whole turret for it.
I mean, you can throw a wave away, right, to roam, but Tally's not even been given that opportunity. Xie's just keeping it under his tower for so long. I mean, just look at the gold here. And Xie almost on top. Kramer actually the one right up there.
He cashed in the cold.
Ah. Trusty Cole.
That's that Cole start for you there. Really coming in clutch there, knowing that not a lot of action was going to happen this game. LGD's totally fine with this, and knowing that TF has yet to press R is a great sign, because that's the value that TF has. If you're not using that ultimate, you really should have just picked a control mage.
Well, speaking of cashing in, Raze wants to cash in ASAP. Does have the first Dirk for that lethality build, is going for that Muramana lethality build you described earlier, Crumbs, and he's probably got quite a few stacks given that the CS is nice and healthy between both the marksmen in this game. Legacy lining up for the second Drake though. Raze not going to eat the spear. Peanut made it close though.
Okay, so Legacy can afford to take a fight right now around this dragon. You have the Twisted Fate ultimate that can let you catch somebody moving into position for the objective here. I'm looking at champions like the Ezreal, no clans, quite squishy right now that you can combo quite well. You really don't want to let LGD just find all your members together and take a straight up 4v4. You want to outnumber, you want to outplay your opponents before they can group up. This is the level 11 Kassadin, and against the Lilia, this unsuspecting deer is just gonna have a terrible time here in front of Kassadin. This is one of the worst matchups that Lilia could possibly ever have. Never really gonna do a whole lot of damage, let alone CC him.
Keep an eye on the top laners as well. They both have TP, level 11 currently for the Camille. Topu not there just yet. Bot lane is going to go back down to push the wave in as Raze and Isles are trying to open up space for this dragon, but same story here in mid lane as Xie once again will be pushing Tally.
Wow, okay. It looks like the Nidalee is just going to have complete access to the dragon. She can even think about soloing this objective, but it's the Lilia that just roams around, makes sure that that's not happening. But you can already see how much vision LGD have around this objective.
Yeah,
they can take a fight.
Force it. It's a full-on 5v5. Tapoon's roam down. Not even level 11 just yet. They will get it. Reveal the soul of this game. It will be Mountain Soul, as Tapoon's going to TP back to the top lane. Not lose too many minions here in this top lane wave.
That's a good move to secure that objective, and it's clear at that point that Legacy have identified Dragon as their weak, and it's what they're going to go for this whole time. If they're not able to get these fights in the side lanes, they're going to go for the objective wins, but it's going to be a Mountain Soul, which is nice, but it's still not going to win your side lane matchup. So the priority on the Dragon is cool, but you still have to address the bigger problem, which is going to be Kassadin and Camille. You need to get gold on the one member that can deal with this. It's gonna be the Draven. He really needs to cash in, and it's becoming harder and harder to pick on the bottom lane. This Ezreal now has armor. The Leona is already really tanky, so guaranteeing the Draven to get the extra gold that he needs to combat with these split pushers just seems farther and farther from reality.
He's gonna go fight someone, and LGD just have no reason to give you a fight, Crumbs. As you can see, Xie with the blue buff just perma pushing mid lane here, gonna force Tally back once again. Peanut's gonna start the second Rift Herald for LGD this game.
I mean, a lot of players, a lot of people would watch and say, all right, this is a boring game, 0-0. Well, it's not, because LGD is playing the way that they know they're going to win. They're getting the advantages where they need them to, and so there's no need to take these unnecessary risks. If you already have a fairly high percentage of winning the game, why would you do something to change that if things are already going the way that benefits you the most and the enemy's not enforcing their own win conditions? So they're perfectly happy with this pace, and once those side lane turrets go down, you can expect the Kassadin to rotate over, and that's when things get really hairy for Legacy.
First tower's already down, by the way. It was Xie that took it mid lane, I think by himself.
It was the first Herald too that helped him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was low, but Xie just had enough to finish it off, had enough pressure. Peanut's going to Rift Herald the top lane. They'll take that down. Legacy do at least trade for the bottom outer, as Tapoon is going to go ahead and kill Shelly.
I mean, this game can be a way to show that you can win games without fighting, right? So much of solo queue and the way that a lot of games before Worlds unfolded was just really skirmish heavy, but oftentimes just playing controlled and knowing that you're getting what you need and having identified exactly what that is before even looking for the fight is another way of playing the game. So there's teams that we criticize for being perhaps too slow, but hey, if it gets the win, it doesn't matter if you had no kills at all, because you can have a perfect game that doesn't involve killing the opponent.
All right, well, Crumbs, if Raze is supposed to be the answer to some of these potential side lane problems, he's got a Sanguine Blade, which can certainly help in that sort of situation.
Huh.
But LGD shoving this bottom lane outer tower. It's going to be an easy 2v2 tower take here as Kramer going to have more than enough caster creeps to take this down. LGD will fell the outer ring just under 20 minutes in. Yes, it's 2 Drakes for Legacy, but LGD just again keeping that gold nice and high, keeping the control of the map. If Legacy can break open mid-outer now, we have a bit of a different conversation because they have much more room to maneuver. But it just feels like the same story of last game where LGD got ahead and then just took control of the river and never gave it back.
They're not giving anything back to Legacy here, although I don't think if Legacy even wanted to take something right now, they could. Their opportunities for finding these Twisted Fate ultimates are really very few right now. Even ganking somebody like a Camille seems almost impossible here. She can always dodge out of your gold card with her own ultimate, making it even harder to lock her down. And this is the time that I was mentioning where the Ezreal goes into the mid lane, already has the Frozen Fist, just going for the really tanky build, making him that much more of a impossible champion to move out from the mid lane here. He's not going to be punished from this Ezreal, from the Draven, sorry, going with the lethality build. So I think that LGD is just going to control this side of the map and fight for this dragon. They don't want to give Legacy the Ocean Soul Point, but sorry, the Mountain Soul Point, yet they don't even need to worry about taking a 5v5. They have so much control here, the poke should be enough, and the Camille is already in position.
I mean, if you ever need an illustration of what, you know, having towers down does, LGD, GA just started off by walking into the enemy red side jungle. Ton of vision dropped in there now for LGD, and now Legacy just have this long, unsafe area they have to farm in. They're sticking together here in mid. Tally, who hasn't pressed R once this game, is splitting the bottom side of the map, maybe looking for a flank angle here with the ulti. There is going to be the Drake up in 3 seconds. There's the ulti. Where's the pick going to be? They see the rest of LGD. They're going to go for Xie. He's a tough one to get. He's going to stand and fight for now. Xie going to go over the wall, and Legacy are at least going to have inside track on this Drake. They're going to start it.
Okay, Kassadin can have a really nice angle here, and they're all funneled up. We've already seen what LGD can do from a flanking position there, so worried that the Kassadin is going to pop off here is a big threat, and Braum's already really chunked. The Nidalee heals, sorry, the heals will come through for him, but this is just not enough. LGD have control over this. They still have everything, and the Twisted Fate won't be able to reposition.
Launching as well, another flank. I feel like I've seen this play already. Babip getting low. They can't see the Camille just yet. Now they're going to get the bad news. In onto Babip they go, and Babip's just going to be slain. That's first blood, 21 minutes in, but Legacy, they're going to try and turn it back around to Poon. He's going to get 1 kill. They've killed the Kassadin. They've killed the Camille as well. There's the catch-in that Raze was after. But it's a 4v3 as LGD is still throwing that poke.
Okay, LGD can still fight this though. Look at all the poke coming through.
They don't have a jungler. Isles is so low. Tally gonna get the stun down, but the damage is there for the Draven ulti. Legacy are gonna force LGD out. They desperately want to get to Soul Point here, but Raze is going back in again. 1 auto, 1 to mark needed, but Raze no flash is gonna force them away. Ulti out, the 2-shot barrage kills Isles, but to get the dragon, they're gonna have to call words, but Raze possessed is gonna go back in, cleanses it off, he's gonna get damage down. As Kramer pokes back and forth, now Raze gonna have to be careful. Sacrifice is made for Tapoon, but he takes down Kramer, perhaps not a sacrifice at all. It is indeed, as Peanut gets the trade, and TP in for Xie is gonna keep chasing. TP in for Longsheng is gonna go for another. The fight's not done as Raze needs to get out alive.
There's hope! There's hope! Legacy did it. They actually got the dragon. They're now on Dragon Point, on Soul Point, and they have a Draven that cashed in, so they actually have a way to win these fights. Yet when we look at how LGD played that, I think they could have actually completely smoked that fight, yet there was a big misplay there out of the Camille. She did not use her ultimate to dodge out of the gold card. Let's see how this went down. We saw how he pulled this off on the Renekton before. This is great. You're comboing with the Kassadin as well, but watch this. Ulting right away gets him CC'd and makes it so much easier for the rest of Legacy to immediately collapse. They burn down the Kassadin, who cannot stand in the front line right now. There is a lot of crowd control that can lock you down, as well as physical damage from the Draven there, so a really good punish and a quick response. Thinking about a bear? Okay, this is just... I don't think they're going to actually pull this off. They're looking for just a fight.
Yeah, Raze gonna back away. Don't need that spear. block there for Isles. Mark going in, Ray's kiting out though. Could be a good call here if they get the stun down. TP in for Topoon. Xie around the side. They've seen him though from the TF ulti. But Legacy gonna have to be careful. Peanut in. There's the Poppy ulti. Poppy off the spins up. The kill is over. But the damage from Draven ulti is gonna get the counter kill onto Peanut. And now the stun onto Longxing. He's gonna get picked up by the Braum. The auto's in the air and Raze is gonna grab the double.
Did you see the Leona Zenith Blade going through the Poppy ultimate and continuing back onto the fight? But the Draven is popping off Pastry. He has so much damage right now. They're trying to dive him, but the Braum comboed with him locks everybody else down. LGD's having a really hard time breaking through this. They're picking these fights that are a little bit of a question mark there. I'm not sure what they think they can accomplish there without being able to burst the Draven right away or anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering how they deal with all this mobility, but Braum's a pretty good champion as it turns out. What a dodge here from Raze as well. Isles throws his body on the line.
Yeah, so they're going for this fight knowing that there's a Twisted Fate ultimate, and yeah, the Cassidy is looking for a flank, but they know where he is, and Camille is not here yet. And watch this Zenith Blade. Sick rebound. Nice!
And then a great Draven ulti plus the Glacial Fissure there from Isles and Raze. And then Longxing's just like trying to make a play happen that doesn't exist. And Raze catches in again.
They can't team fight. Like, they have to go for 1-3-1.
Yeah, and that's not what they're doing. And unsurprisingly, they're losing fights where the Draven auto attacks freely. Funny how that works. 10,000, almost 11,000 gold from Raze, who's been cashing in back-to-back fights. We're going to have the Mountain Soul available for Legacy in a minute 50. Tally with 4 assists. I think very indicative of how this game has been going for him.
Okay, so, I mean, this Poppy has a death stance, so she's
tight.
quite tanky. She does a fair bit of damage at the moment, and she's not scared of the Camille and the silence, which is good. It's going to be good sustain for her to be able to just farm away and deal with potentially Camille dashing in, using her protocol on you and dealing that true damage, though. So I think that as long as Poppy can hold her own here and knowing that the Twisted Fate can help you if things get really hairy, Legacy can guarantee themselves a fight in this next minute and a half. And if they can get this Mountain Soul, it's gonna be really a big benefit for their fight, as these burst champions of Kassadin and Camille are gonna have a really hard time breaking through that extra bit of shield.
Yeah, I might see there's some lifesteal tanking from this Poppy and Draven, honestly, with the Mountain Soul shield adding so much more durability for these champions. Can see the plan though for LGD if they are going to be forced into a fight. Right now they're 1-3-1ing, which is exactly what we expected from this comp. Level 16 on the way for this Kassadin and this Camille. I'm curious if she is going to get there before the dragon spawns, but Legacy going in now. Mark is going to be the target, tallying with a gold card. See you later, Leona! Legacy going to pick up yet another kill.
Raise your koalas, Pastry. That's 30 seconds before the dragon. And Mark's not going to be up for this fight. He's going to be very late. I think as long as Legacy does not int this away, looking for something that they don't have to, they're going to get themselves a soul. Tanking a few shots there, but they have priority on mid lane. I like what Camille and Kassadin are doing, trying to surround them, making sure that the wave is not there, contesting it before Legacy can do something about it. They just need to stay grouped, yet as long as they can peel for the Draven, they will win a fight. Look at Peanut. He's built a crucible to try to keep this Camille and Kassadin from getting CC'd and burst right away. They know who they have to kill.
Yeah, again, the trap is closing here for LG, but this is a 4v5 they're going to have to try and fight. Dragon is low as well. Legacy, what's the decision here?
Oh, Elite, go back.
Oh, reset again, but there's the Poppy ulti going to kick Longxing out of the fight. Into they go, they find the stun. That's Xie dead. The shutdown in on for Tally. What? The Dragon's going to get stolen though as Peanut is going to go down, but now it's a 5v3 as Longxing going to dive in and race. He needs to leave him, but Camille is going to lock him down for so long as they finally find the shutdown. But Tally's living, Topoon is as well. Mark's going to get stunned. There's the gold card out. They've got it. They've got the stun as well. But Viv's going to get it. That's going to be the ace. Legacy, they found it as Babip grabs a triple kill.
Oh, they lose the dragon, but they win the fight. They commit so much to take down the Draven. It actually ends up working out. The Poppy ultimate to displace Camille was pretty clutch, but with the dragon getting reset, it was leashed too long. It actually prevented Legacy from bursting the dragon and getting it before LGD was able to fight. So let's see how this played out right away, because you know that LGD is fighting from different fronts, but then this is a big moment. The dragon gets pulled a little bit too far and it no longer can be burst. The Nidalee is not able to go in. They try to combo onto the Kassadin, but they use so much to kill him that when the rest of the team falls through, they're not able to peel right away, and there's enough CC to actually lock down this Draven.
What a hero from Peanut there, flashing in to smite that one away. It looked close here as well on the other end of it, but Topoon, Tally, and Babbitt able to clean this one up. Just such good use of CC for Legacy in this fight. Again, like, Ezreal, Kassadin, and Camille are not easy champions to lock down. As Halo's going to show us the Legacy logo. Carvin on the right there, looking a little... Certainly knows that this game is not done yet. The goal's actually very even between these two teams. Legacy didn't get Baron off that play. They didn't get the souls. Peanut stole the dragon. Still a while to go here, Crumbs, but it is looking good for Legacy to try and tie this series. They're going to go straight for Baron.
They want to fight here. They want LGD to collapse onto them. If LGD has recognized how these fights have gone, they know that this is going to be a really tough one. Maybe Peanut can pull off another steal, but this Baron is already so low.
These TPs are spooky. They're trying to finish it. They've kicked Peanut out of the pit. Baron's going to go over to Legacy, but what's the fight going to look like? Have to protect Raze here, but the Camille ulti is going to dive in onto them. But I think Legacy, they're able to do it. They get one, and Shia goes down, but Raze falls in the exchange as Long Xing is going to be the next one to go down. Topoon is keeping everybody in this pit, trapped in there with the Poppy. Kramer trying to fight as best he can, but Tally is going to put an end to that, and now Mark's been tagged by concussive blows as Tally going to leap in with a gold card. No flash, no chase to be had, but Legacy, they win the fight, and more importantly, they get the Baron.
That is a really well-committed call out of Legacy. They knew that they were going to finish the Baron, but they had to do something about the Nidalee. The Poppy ultimate comes in clutch. She can't flash it, doesn't have it available, and now that the Draven has been focused for so long, luckily the rest of Legacy's teammates are actually strong enough to deal with the rest of the team. They have enough crowd control to deal with everybody diving in, and I think we got ourselves a series pastry. Legacy has figured out what they need to do against LGD, and at the very least, it starts from the mid lane champion pool.
And for all of the criticism we were throwing Tally's way for that landing phase, his team fighting has been exceptional. Just watch this Twisted Fate.
Gold carding the Kassadin, holding it onto the important targets. Another one right away. She barely got to be mobile in that fight. Between his stasis and the lockdown, there really wasn't a whole lot to do, and then Kramer shifting into the pit, hoping to combo something with the rest of his team, but they're already so tanky here. These are not the easiest to kill members. You've got the double Zanyas, you've got a lot of armor on the Poppy as well, so the Ezreal's having a hard time to just jump in and burst these guys down. He needs to bide his time from the side lanes, and unfortunately his team's not tanky enough to buy as much time as Legacy's members can.
And they took the mid inhib off the back of that as well. Still a minute 10 left on the Red Bull Baron. So Legacy going to go ahead and shove down this tier 2. Should be able to get this nice and easily. Can they get one more inhib though? That's kind of the gold standard other than ending the game. The LGD have a lot to hold on to here. Going to be tough to prevent this siege. Legacy just going to storm through and take this tower down. It's gone.
Not a lot of wave clear there, especially against the Baron. Camille's already based here. Might be looking for their last stand, but without Mark, I think they'll just concede it.
I love Poppy ulti. It's been a while since I've seen the quality Poppy ult. Topoon has had some good ones so far this game. So Legacy, they kick out Mark, take down the last tower. They're going to fall back to this soul up in 30 seconds. Peanut in the player cams, kind of looking back, taking a big deep breath. He's going to have to steal another dragon by the looks of things.
There's plenty of vision here to know if LGD wants to contest it, although LGD do have that sneaky ward inside the pit, so if they want to take a fight, when they show him that, they'll know that they can move up safely.
Legacy, they're going to clear out all of that vision. Tally waiting for the ulti. There it is. Who's the pick? It's going to be Long Xing by the looks of things. He's going to get out of there with the hook shot, but the super minions in bot and mid still causing problems. Legacy still have control of this river. I think they're just going to force LGD to fight them, but they can buy time if they want. They've got plenty of pressure in the lanes just from the supers alone.
There's a lot of vision here now for both teams, so they have an idea of where the fight is going to break out, though. But look at that wave into the bottom lane. They need somebody to address it. As long as Legacy bide their time, LGD will be forced to react, and Camille does not have teleport. They see her now. They're looking to commit for this. LGD is calling back the Camille. Fight's about to break out.
Be tricky. Legacy, I think they are going to force them to commit. Tally going forward. This move speed, he popped Ghost. Double sleep on the horizon, there it goes, but Vip has found the angle. In they go with the Glacial Fissure, the Draven ulti almost assassinates Kramer, but he's alive for now. Tapoon, he's keeping Shie out of the pit. Mark is low, but the Camille's gonna dive in as Tally trying to peel them off. There's the kill, Shie finds two, the bottom lane in one fell. Riftwalker's Legacy, surely, not surely, they haven't thrown this game away, but Tapoon now in a 1v3 as Shie has picked up the triple. He's gonna make it the quadra kill.
Might be able to get a penta if he really chases, but the Kassadin is now online. I think Legacy might have actually thrown the pastry. That was a really rough fight, though. LGD clearly showing that they're still in. That's a death cap on Kassadin. He is so freaking fed right now. Yes, it's going to cost a Nexus turret, but those really don't matter at this stage. It's all about these fights at this point onwards, and they know that they can at least have enough damage to now dive the Draven despite the Braum being there. That's a really big point for LGD in this composition. As long as he dies, the rest of the team fight is so easy. He's really been the only member that has made these fights so difficult for LGD, and we see what Legacy was trying to go for. They're trying to combo in, but we're going to look at the POV out of the Kassadin, who just avoids the crowd control, knowing that he's got plenty of mana, and sees that when Camille goes in, he's got a really nice flash Rift Walk, gets a nice double kill, and then against the double APs, it's just so easy to clean them up.
Yeah, Shie played that exceptionally well. One away from the Penta there. Dragon goes over to LGD. They keep that soul timer, pushing it further back. 40 seconds till that Baron is up. Legacy gonna pop the ulti out of Twisted Fate just for some info. I don't think Ray's had Death Dance in that last fight, by the way, but he does have it now.
I think the itemization from the Draven will barely make a dent in LGD's plans of killing him. He's the absolute focus there, and the big difference I want to see from Legacy in these fights is not getting carried away with the fact that they've won a lot of these fights before this one. They have to use their crowd control on the diving targets. They can't be the ones engaging. You know what LGD is going for. They have to keep Draven alive. It really is the only hope that they have of winning these fights, and it's been what got them in this position in the first place.
And Hips are back, at least in mid. Botlane's going to be pretty soon as well. Sleep Peanut? No. Not going to pull the trigger. They have to watch for this Kassadin. Shie is so deadly. Level 18. 4 finished items for this Kassadin. And Longsheng also, he's starting to maybe threaten the tier 2 in bottom lane. He's going to take a while to chew through the super, so Legacy are just going to force the issue.
They've done this before. It worked well. Where is the ward for Camille to teleport to? It might be that control on the side or the top side.
Can't get poked here if you're Legacy. They're going to try and finish off the Baron. There's the TP they wanted. Solar Flare, oh, that's so good. Finds two. Tapoon going to be the target, but Steadfast present. This is going to prevent Mark from going in, but Shie is the threat, and they know it.
LGD have heals from the Nidalee, and they've got position on the mid lane. This makes Legacy either have to recall and concede position around Baron or stick around and potentially be gunned down here. This is a really good position for LGD. They've got a lot of...
They're engaging. Double sleep. He's found Shie and Nidalee. Isles going back in as well. They have to get this Kassadin, and they need a little bit more though, and they're not going to get it, but there's Tally going in. He's diving in for Kramer, but Kramer's going to get kicked out now. Peanut going to be the target. Raze finds it. A 5v4 now for Legacy.
They can Baron now. That's no smite. No threat of a smite steal comes through. This was the fight they needed. They're going to be able to heal up a little bit here from the lifesteal. LGD can still think about taking this fight because Kassadin is so damn fed, and there's a G8. Now they're in the pit.
Yeah, they're not going to get this Baron, but they might get some exit kills here. There's the Baron going over. Isles going to tank it up, and Legacy needs to win this 4v4. Longsheng dives in, but he's got the GA. Ray's still alive. Tally again. He's going to go into Stasis, but the damage is just so massive. GA! Unstoppable! Just ripping through everybody. And Tapoon, he's going to be left for dead here in the Baron pit as he shuts down Shie, but that's not enough, as that's the ace for LGD.
That Baron was not worth the pastry. Look at these death timers. I think that LGD might try to end the game here.
They're pinging to end it, and they certainly should be. Kramer, with 4 items, just finished off the fight that Shie could not, but he did so much work before we got here. 30 seconds, 20 seconds on Draven.
I think it's theirs. It's 5 on the Braum, but if they can tank this with the Stone Plate, they have more than enough damage.
Yeah, they're going for it here. Braum's up. Has to get to work real quick here. No ulti for... Oh, he does have ulti, actually, but can he really do anything? Gonna pop the ulti, try and buy some time, and the Nexus is gonna be exposed. LGD from the brink of death are gonna make it 2-0 as they take down the Nexus.
Wow, they stole that game. They really did. They played those fights so well towards the later half, knowing that they had to isolate Draven, and if he wasn't, that they just needed to dogpile him. And for Legacy, they had that game in their hands. They misplayed a few key fights, not recognizing how LGD was going to be approaching those team fights. They let the Draven get by, have the Kassadin and the Camille pile onto him, and at the very least, for them, they can go back to blue side and first pick the Twisted Fate again, but the early phase for Twisted Fate